not in the cave, and she goes, I know, but I think he's in the cave. It's great.
Like it's a hung jury. It's one of the few times you see that.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing about the documentary. It's really interesting. But Ben's parents, they go to visit the family, and they are very open with these folks, and they let them film everything, and they talk with them. And at one point, they come to realize that Ben is not their only son, but they actually have 3 sons. And they had a son whose name was Paul, and he had died 2 years prior at the age of 22 from a stroke.
Yeah, or if you go out and read it, he died of an overdose. But that's
what starts to come out as they start looking at the autopsy, and as they start digging into some of the history, they come to question the stroke theory. So they settle on, or they get it's the autopsy report, right?
Mm-hmm.
They get the autopsy report, and it says overdose on it.
Yeah.
So then they start to think about what the family has done, and they realize that, well, they're strangely controlling about information and the way things are presented, which from one perspective I totally get. They're a grieving family and they want their child to be put in the best light.
Sure.
But on the other side, they start this whole thing, this whole foundation for stroke prevention, which is something that their kid didn't die from. So it's little...
Yeah, Ben was even like kind of heading it up and everything.
Yeah, so it's very questionable. And as you read correspondence from Ben to his family, he always in everything that he writes, he's always thanking his parents for everything they've done. Now that could be because A, he realizes how much they've done for him and he is sincerely thankful, or it's brought up, maybe that's because he is required to say those kind of things for the cash to keep coming in, or the hell to not rain down.
And
I don't know. This is conjecture.
Well, and we should clarify that when we say required, it's not as though his parents said, listen, if you don't say to us every single time.
It's a learned behavior.
It's a learned behavior, right? I mean, I think almost every kid who's ever relied on their parents as an adult learns that whether you feel it or not, you have to say, I am so thankful to you, and that's how you keep getting things.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
it's true, because as soon as you start saying, man, screw you guys, they're going to be like, okay, just kidding, we won't give you a bunch of money.
Hey, Mom, Dad, you're a total set of jerks. Oh, well, you know the deposit we were going to make for you because we love you?
Never mind. We don't love you that much.
We don't love you that much. Yeah, you know what? Instead, Dad wants a new motorcycle. I mean, that's the way it comes across, and it's completely possible. So now,
let me get this straight.
Okay.
So he's living for free in his condo in Florida.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And also getting cash from the parents.
Yeah.
And all he's got to do is say thanks occasionally.
Yeah.
So is that the kind of job you would quit?
No.
No. Okay.
And that is my problem with this theory, is that if Ben ran away, the theory is, just so we lay it out in its entirety, is that Ben went down, Ben came up and marched on foot with his gear out of Vortex Springs, or had somebody meet him and took him there and left his truck behind. My problem with that theory is that he would have had to start over, so he wouldn't have had any cash. So it seems crazy to me that he would have left a wallet with $700 in it.
Exactly. I mean, it lends credibility to the dying idea if you leave a wallet with at least a couple $100 in it, but with $700, and also the dog. You know, he left his dog behind. His dog could have starved.
The dog is troubling.
Yeah.
The cash is less troubling to me. It doesn't seem to me that $700 seemed like a ton of money to him, given that he was having seen the house that he grew up in Tennessee, and it's possible that he had a bunch of money while away and it was just like whatever he had in his wallet at the time. I mean, yeah, I think $700 is a lot of money. I think most people do, but I also didn't grow up in a house like he did.
But I guess my issue and why I point to the $700 is that he's going to have to start over, and chances are when he starts over, he's going to have to start over in a lifestyle he is entirely not accustomed to.
Yeah.
So knowing that you are going to have to live like cheaper and than you've ever done it, and so under the radar, you take every dollar that you could conceivably take that. That's what I would, if I was going to disappear.
Yeah, but you've lived poor before.
I have.
Yeah, so like I know some kids who have like never lived poor before in their entire lives, and then like we went to college. And suddenly their parents were like, well, we'll give you $700 a month allowance. And they were like, oh, I can't live on that. What do you mean $700 a month? Right? Because that's so much money. You can do almost anything you want with that amount of money.
Well, it depends on if that's after rent.
No.
That's
like their parents were paying for everything. That was their like spending money. That's their walking around.
Oh, okay. That's not so bad. Yeah.
No, that's really good. But I think that there are kids in this world, and I mean, it's possible that he got to the age of 30 where he just you don't get $50,000 in debt to the IRS for not spending any money, right? You don't incur as much debt and have as much stuff going on for not living large or beyond your means. So I think it's possible that, it's the Arrested Development quote, what is it, a banana? How much could it cost? $10? Like, I think there are people in this world who, have no idea. And so $700 may seem like, no, I don't need that amount of money.
Yeah, maybe.
And that's entirely possible. I mean, I don't think that Ben showed up in Florida with, 5 tanks.
Yeah.
He probably picked up tanks while he was there. And Joe and I were talking about this earlier, they're standard sized tanks. So it's not like he bought anything crazy, but tanks are cheap.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
But they're like 80 cubic feet tanks. They're
so he
aluminum
just bought himself a set of tanks, or at least a set of tanks, and he bought gear. I mean, yeah, you're right. It is a situation where he may not have, and that possibly could have been what got him in trouble in his business, is he didn't understand the way the world works when it comes to money.
Entirely possible.
Well,
and this is... Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say he was also doing that real estate thing.
Well, he started out in construction, and he thought he could spin himself into real estate.
But that was it was like a pyramid scheme real estate thing.
Basically.
Well,
No, I mean, it was.
Also, the year was 2010, which is when the real estate market was really in the crapper. The thing about it is the whole disappearing thing is, I just don't see what it got him.
I agree.
I mean, the negatives are, well, the positives are basically nothing.
Well, no. The positive are, you are out from underneath the thumb of mom and dad, and you are free of them who...
Yeah, but you don't need to disappear to do that.
Well, you might need to disappear to get rid of your $50,000 worth of debt to the IRS.
Yeah, I did hear one rumor online that the $50,000 had actually been paid off.
It's possible.
I've never seen that. I'm not saying
I did see that, but
okay.
I could be wrong about that. But maybe his parents paid it off, and they just said, "Hey, son, whenever you're back in money, whenever you're back in the money, and you got a lot of money, you can pay us back, please do it. Otherwise, we'll just take it out of your inheritance or something like that." You know, I mean, it could have been something like that.
I wish I had an inheritance.
Yeah.
I mean, I know, me too. Yeah, and the thing about it is he was walking away from some good stuff. I mean, he had a dog, he had a girlfriend, and I've seen stuff on the web about how, oh my God, his parents were horrible people. Well, I don't think they were. I don't think they were either. I mean,
I don't think
for
they
me,
were.
my biggest drawback on the walking away from life is to see how Paul's death affected his family, and to know that I don't think that Ben was like a horrible guy.
No.
And I can't imagine, even if you didn't really care that much about your family, putting your family through something like that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well,
that's my biggest thing.
Okay, so the things that I see that could, and I'm going to do this, and then let's finish the theory.
Yeah.
Is that if he believed his brother had died of a stroke, or knew that his brother didn't actually die of a stroke, but his parents put up this front that said it was a stroke, and we're going to do all this stuff, and by the way, you're going to be the front man of that organization, he may have kind of just got sick of it. I can't take this anymore. The other thing that may have driven him to that was, he had not too long before he disappeared gone home. And one of the things that you see in Ben's vortex is you go through the house, and I would call it a shrine. There is a shrine to Paul. in a single room, it is nothing but Paul. Same thing now for Ben.
Yeah.
They got a house big enough that they have an entire room dedicated to this one person.
They have a nice
Yeah.
house, but I mean, do you
the
really
point
think
is
he
that-
wanted a shrine to himself?
Well, but he may have. I mean, it may have been the situation where he had to walk. His parents said, "And go visit Paul," and he had to go in there, and he just feels. It feels like he's betraying the truth and just so sick and so fed up. And I mean, I know people get that way, and it may have been that he said, "I'm going to hatch this cockamamie plan, and I'm getting the hell out of Dodge, and I never have to see you people again because you're liars, and I can't take it anymore."
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
This is, I mean, again, I'm making this up.
I kind of
don't know.
doubt it. I kind of doubt it. I think that
I agree.
probably
I don't think it's real, but
he might have been totally on board with the whole thing about hushing up the whole overdose thing.
what's your favorite theory?
My favorite theory is
Yeah.
that somebody killed him and made it look like he died on a dive.
Devin,
I think he's in a crevice somewhere.
I'm tied. I'm 30% that he's in the cave.
Okay.
I am 70% that he is not in the cave.
Yeah.
And I believe that of that 70%, 50% is Lowell Kelly is involved.
Yeah.
I don't know how, I don't know where he's at, but I don't believe he's in the cave.
I would say Lowell Kelly, in my mind, is like 30% involved. But I think he probably is just in the cave.
Okay.
It's interesting.
I don't-
We're all,
yeah, I
we're
don't-
all three different.
Yeah, I don't think Lowell Kelly would be involved, because you don't crap in your own nest. He could be looking at...
I have chickens, they do it.
Yeah, I mean,
They
there's
do it all the time.
Given the fact that there is evidence that, cars parked there, he left tanks behind. It looks like maybe he drowned in the cave. Lawsuit. Seriously. And so, or if it's murder.
There's not a lawsuit. They have to sign a waiver.
Well, there's that, but waivers can always be broken by a
Ben
lawyer.
wouldn't have signed a waiver.
Yeah.
Ben wasn't allowed to go in the cave.
Yeah, he wasn't. Yeah, and so.
Yeah, that's true.
But
But there hasn't been a lawsuit against them. So.
No,
Because there's no body to prove that he died in the cave.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why I think that he's not in the cave, and I think Lowell is involved. I think
And
Lowell would,
he
crap,
died-
this jerk went in there and never signed my damn waiver.
Yeah.
I'm going to get the pantsuit off of me.
Yeah, exactly. But so he disposed of the body, but he didn't dispose of the tanks in the truck. Again, I'm sorry, I'm not
Bungling
buying
moves.
it.
Yeah,
I'm not
I know.
buying it at all.
We're belaboring the crap
Yeah.
out of this. All right. So at this point, we have gone over this story quite a lot.
Beating
If
it
you
like a dead horse.
If you want to read any more about it, we will have links to it on our website. Website, of course, thinkingsidewayspodcast.com. On the link there, you can listen to the show, you can download or stream it. We will also have there on the website on the right-hand side, there is going to be links to merch. So we have merchandise available if you want. We also have options to support the show if you are so inclined. We have the PayPal for a one-time donation option or links to Patreon, which is patreon.com/thinkingsideways. Patreon is a sustaining donation. It's a per episode donation, however much you're comfortable with, or if you're not
anywhere
comfortable
between
with,
50
we,
cents and
we
$1 million
get it.
bucks, you
So
know?
it's totally voluntary. We love everybody who is currently using Patreon. Thank you so much. It is a massive help.
It does
but
help.
it is not a
Yeah.
requirement. So,
Yeah.
we also have the ability to be listened to and downloaded, and a lot of people do this, is through iTunes. If you're on iTunes, please do take the time to leave a comment and a rating. A nice rating. If you've got an objection with something specific about the show, we would much rather that you get a hold of us by email so that we can
Please.
talk about it. Because we can't really talk to you when you just leave a random comment on iTunes. If you want to do that, though, and get a hold of us, you can send us the email. The email address is thinkingsidewayspodcast@gmail.com. We are available to stream as well as iTunes. People are streaming us on so many websites. We've been getting tons of emails.
Billions of them.
Yeah, they're all over the place.
Yeah.
We are also on the social media. So we have the Twitter account.
The
which is
Twitter and the Facebook.
the Twitter and the Facebook. So Twitter is Thinkin' Sideways without the G in the middle. And for Facebook, we have the Facebook page and the Facebook group. So you can follow the page or like the page and then join the group. Because there's always conversations about episodes that we've talked about, as well as all kinds of other random mystery stuff on there.
Well, I love it that who's it Frederick Gasoline posted a comment on it today.
Yeah.
From your Le Prince episode.
Louis Le Prince, yeah. Frederick
Yeah.
Gasoline
Awesome.
challenged me to a duel.
So there's always some really fun stuff going on in the group. It's a good group of people.
Yeah.
And the only thing I haven't talked about yet is that we do also have a subreddit.
We do.
So the subreddit is there. People are slowly but surely joining up, so you can join that if you'd like to talk about episodes in there. And you two have any other things that we've missed or need
Nope.
to talk about?
He's
No.
not in the cave. That's about it.
He's in the cave.
No, not in the cave.
He's in the cave.
Not.
Yeah, he is.
Not.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Not.
Yeah.
Not.
Yes.
Not. Okay. Bye.
Thinking Sideways is not brought to you by the incessant wheezing of a grumble of pigs. Instead, it's supported by the generous donations of our listeners on Patreon. Visit patreon.com/Thinking Sideways to learn more. And thanks.
Thinking Sideways.
I don't understand.
Does not compute.
You never know.
Insufficient data to formulate a reply.
What?
Stories of things we simply don't know the answer to.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Thinking Sideways, the podcast.
Where Steve interrupts.
Where Steve interrupts constantly every day.
Sorry,
I'm Devin, joined by Steve and
the interrupter.
Joe.
God.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a long episode. It's not actually gonna be that long of an
That's
episode.
gonna be pretty short.
It just is going to if Steve keeps interrupting.
What?
Yeah. Today we're gonna talk
What
about...
are we talking about?
Reminds me of a joke.
Okay, let's go. Sorry.
Today we're gonna talk about
It's just because you had a candy bar earlier and I couldn't help but interrupt because of that. But you know what? I should let you go ahead and talk about this story because this one's a fun one.
Oh, it is. No, it's a very good one. Highly dramatic. Lots of death and destruction.
Cyborgs from the future?
But I really
No?
need it. Knock, knock.
This week we're going to talk about the disappearance of Benjamin Bathurst. This was a suggestion by Ash.
Hey, Ash.
England. We're working through those suggestions.
Ash, I hope you're still listening.
I think he is. I think he emailed us last time.
Did he?
Pretty sure.
Okay.
Maybe not.
Well, Ash, when you hear this, come on, send us an email.
Yeah,
Let us know
geez,
you're
man.
still alive.
So the quick overview for this story is that a minor British diplomat named Benjamin Bathurst vanished almost literally into thin air while traveling under an assumed name with intendant in 1809
In Germany.
in Germany while fleeing Austria. Cool?
Vienna?
Yeah.
He's fleeing from Vienna.
Yeah.
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 Which is in Austria.
Yeah.
It is.
Part of. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's start with Benjamin. Yeah.
Well,
Quickly.
Great. Benjamin was born on March 18th, 1784 in London, so he was British.
And then he was 25 when he disappeared. Pretty young, actually, to be a diplomat.
He was actually very young to be a diplomat.
yeah, it's a little weird.
I think he was like 17 or 18 when he became a diplomat. He was part of the Bathurst family. Surprise!
Yeah.
His father was the Right Reverend Henry Bathurst, and he was the Bishop of Norwich. That's pretty cool lineage. No? You guys are impressed? Okay, never mind.
I am.
He was the third son in his family, so he had 2 older brothers. And then he had a sister, and I don't actually know. I think she was younger.
I was going to say, I thought the sister was younger, but I
I think
never
so,
actually
just-
paid attention enough.
Well, I don't think that I've ever seen it anywhere written.
Oh, well, that
how
makes
old
me
she
feel better
was.
then.
But I just know later she was still kind of looking for her brother.
And that's
I,
Trifina, right?
No, that's Philida.
Well, Philida. Okay.
Philida Call, I think is her.
Oh, I thought that was his wife.
Is it?
Yeah.
Am I getting the two mixed up? Okay, it's the sister that had the awesome last name?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I got him totally backwards then.
You did. So, yeah, he was married to a woman named Philida Call.
Sorry for the spoiler.
Gosh, jeez. And I don't think that they had kids.
No, I don't
As
think
far
so.
as I know, he became a diplomat, quote unquote, at an early age, but it was definitely before he was 21. And then he married in 1805 when he was 21. He had already been a diplomat for a couple years at that point, so really at a really young age. I've heard him as described as very talented and really smart, and just
Sounds like.
overall like actually qualified to be a diplomat, not just he had
I
a
was
good family.
I was going to say that there's two kinds of diplomats at this time. There is the you have inherited this job, no matter how terrible you are at it, or you actually have a talent.
Yeah.
And so-
Usually third sons don't inherit
very true.
diplomacies, diplomatic charges.
Diplomatic posts. But,
Diplomatic posts?
Well, he wasn't exactly he was more kind of like an envoy.
Well, that's true.
Yeah,
I guess.
but still.
But the thing is about diplomats at that time is that if you do reading of historical stuff, they would have the ability to solve problems, so grievances of their monarch. They would go in and they could agree to the terms on behalf of their monarch. Now, they still had to go home and get the monarch to buy into it.
That would be months later. But yeah,
right,
I mean, obviously they had to be able to do that because he didn't have a phone. You know,
Right, but yeah, I was going to say, it's not like today where it's like,